call this meeting of the Aurora City Council for April 22nd, 2025 to order. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderman Barrero.
Here.
Alderwoman Garza.
Here.
Alderman Masiacos.
Present.
Alderman Donnell.
Here.
Alderman Franco.
Here.
Alderman Seville. Alderman Tolliver.
Here.
Alderwoman Smith. Here. Alderman Bug.
Here.
Alderwoman Bate.
Here.
Alderman Lash.
Present.
Alderman Moorman. Mayor Urban is present.
Is there a motion to approve the Sergeant at Arms for this meeting? Motion made
Second.
by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries by voice vote. Mr. Muhammad.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tonight, leading the Pledge of Allegiance is our 2025 State Champion Scholastic Bowl team from Waubonsie Valley High School, bringing home the gold. If all of our guests can please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And leading the invocation tonight is one of our faith leaders, also business owners, who will be speaking tonight on behalf of her business, but here to lead the invocation, Evangelist Angela Collier.
Shall we all pray? Almighty God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you, Lord, for another day, a day that we have never seen before. We thank you for our city council on tonight, our mayor, and all of those that are present on tonight. We ask you, God, on tonight, if you will bless everyone in this meeting on tonight, to give them the desires of their heart, and God, that you will speak to us, Lord, and what you want us to do with our city going forward. And God, we thank you for the victory on tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Mr. Hamid, let's proceed with Mayor's Office of Community Affairs presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. And good evening again to everyone. We have a packed house here tonight. Thanks for everyone for coming out. Today is Earth Day. A happy Earth Day in the middle of what we call Earth Week, which is in the midst of Earth Month. And so, of course, Aurora will do its part and has been doing our part to keep the earth clean. This Friday, on Arbor Day, we'll have 3 different tree planting ceremonies, as we always partner with local school districts to plant trees on school grounds. We partnered with West Aurora Schools for a tree planted at 9 a.m. at Hill Elementary School and 2:30 p.m. at Jefferson Middle School. And then a very special, first of its kind tribute tree planting, a partnership with the City of Aurora and the Fox Valley Park District at Lincoln Park in honor of retiring Alderman Bill Donnell. Another round of applause for his illustrious career and community service. We invite everyone out at 1:30 p.m. on Friday. So one of those 3 Arbor Day tree plantings. Congratulations, Alderman, and thank you for your service. The next day, the 26th, Kiwanis will do their annual Fox River cleanup. And we also have our annual electronics recycling. Over 2,500 Aurorans have signed up. We increased it from 2,000 to 2,500. So we give a shout out to Ruthie Harris and Josh Alcaraz and that entire team and Neighborhood Standards. We invite you to come out on Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Route 59 train station just to watch how efficient that operation is, as more than 2,500 Aurorans come in to make certain that they dispose of electronics properly. April is also National Volunteer Month, and we hosted our boards and commissions breakfast a couple of weeks ago to thank all of those volunteers who really put in the work to represent our 35 plus boards and commissions for the City of Aurora. I'm going to invite the mayor down. Tonight we are bidding farewell to one of our longtime leaders of boards and commissions. He served on the Human Relations Commission. When we talk about service and volunteerism in Aurora, of course, Marie Wilkinson sets a standard. And among many of the things that she left in her memory, including the Marie Wilkinson Food Pantry, the Marie Wilkinson Child Development Center, the Quad County Urban League, also the Aurora Human Relations Commission that she started 50 years ago. And for the last 5 years, we've had an illustrious chairman who served for the last 13 years on that commission, or 12 and a half years on that commission. And he is stepping down as he now focuses on his personal life. And tonight, we want to thank him for his service with the Mayor's Award of Excellence. If you could join me in welcoming Mr. William Small, Jr. longtime public servant here in the city of Aurora. We thank you, Bill, for your service.
It is my honor to read this Mayor's Award of Excellence that will be honorably presented to William Smalls Jr. for dedicating your time and talents as the chair of the Aurora Human Relations Commission, for volunteering countless hours to the people of the city of Aurora. Let's give him another round of applause.
Comments, sir?
Just like to take a quick moment and say thank you to the mayor. It only seems obvious based on what Clayton just brought out that back in 2013, I was given the opportunity to become a member of the HRC by then Mayor Weisner. And I looked forward to it because one of the things I think that has always made Aurora special to me and my family is the emphasis on diversity and the emphasis on the importance of everyone having dignity, everyone being a part of the community, and knowing that they can be loved on and cared for and made to feel very comfortable. Under the Irving administration, I was given the opportunity to take over as chair back in 20. And it was an interesting time taking over the chair during COVID, but with the help of the mayor and the liaison that we had at the time, Michelle Clark, we are happy to say that we believe we did some good things. And it goes without saying, for me, all of this started with a good friend, and I love calling her friend now, Alex Voigt, if she's still here. She was our first liaison, and it's just interesting, you can see the commitment that the city of Aurora has to this program, because we've always had individuals that are supporting us, not just in name, but in action only. So love Aurora, wish Aurora everything the best going forward, and just thank you for the opportunity to participate.
Thank you, Mr. Small. Thank you so much for your service. And we always like to say these words, Mayor. The champs are
The
here.
champs are here!
We're so excited.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Listen, often gracing these council chambers are so many state champions, and generally in the athletic world. Tonight, we honor our academic and scholastic state champions. That deserves a round of applause in and of itself. These young people representing Waubonsie Valley High School. Their principal is here, who also is the Illinois Administrator of the Year. Mr. Jason Stipp, he's here. They're producing champions at Waubonsie Valley. We're also joined by the illustrious superintendent and chairman of the Aurora Education Commission, Dr. Adrian Talley's here as well. Thank you so much. Mayor, Dr. Talley said, don't mention my name, so we just had to do that just because he said he did. So thank you. But we're here tonight for the coaches and the students who went and clinched the 2025 state championship for the state of Illinois. Scholastic Bowl teams require students to compete 5-on-5 against other teams, answering toss-up questions and bonus questions on various topics, from fine arts, math, science, history, and literature to current events and pop culture. The team meets weekly, participating in conference matches, as well as tournaments hosted by the Illinois High School Scholastic Bowl coaches. Again, this team placed second last year, and they said, look, we gotta come back and we gotta make certain we bring home the gold this year, and they brought home the gold to Aurora, Illinois. Yes. And so, tonight we honor our coaches. Head coach, Jennifer Golminas. And assistant coach, Jill Casey. Let's give them both a round of applause. They are dynamic leaders of the crew. All right.
You know, if I can just read what these Mayor's Awards of Excellence say for both Jennifer and Jill. This is for your guidance, leadership, and coaching of the Waubonsie Valley High School Scholastic Bowl team, and for clinching the 2025 IHSA State Championship. You guys are wonderful. Let's give them a round of applause.
Yes, for the coaches, the leaders, the mentors, the guides of these young people. And you know, every strong team needs a support team that's there with them. These are the students who are on the Scholastic Bowl team, but weren't necessarily part of the state varsity roster. We want to honor them today because all of the teamwork makes the dream work. Let's give a round of applause for Yayo Chapadaye. Yayan? Is Yayan here? No? Come on down, Yayan. Come on down. Big round of applause. And we'll invite our principal down and our superintendent-elect to please join us. You can help with the medals. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Come on down, Petty.
And the alderwoman of Waubonsee Valley High School, 8th Ward Alderwoman Patty Smith. My apologies, Alderwoman. I'm sure I'll hear about this later. Okay, and next student, Salil Podkey. Big round of applause. All right. Next, Kaushik Saravanan. And Maz Sheikh. Down, Maz. All right, and now our IHSA state varsity roster went and clinched, and we'll hear more about it from the coach shortly. But first, big round of applause for state champion Alex Engel. Next, Vikram Narasimhan. Vikram.
It's your team.
Next, Avik Sarkar. Next, Pranav Satapathy. Next, Aksath S.
Good job, Clayton.
All right, next, Mira Zotson Bloom. Mira. And finally, Ishan Argawal. All right. And now we're going to invite head coach Jennifer Gominas to share a little bit about the team.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you so much. On behalf of the team and our school, thank you. We're honored to be invited here to celebrate our championship. The students worked so hard with extra practices led by our seniors, Vikram. Where did you go? Vikram, right here, Vikram. Mira, okay, Ishan over here, and Akshath, where'd you go? Over there. Along with the help of our assistant coach, Jill Casey, and the support of our principal, Mr. Stipp. We're just thrilled to represent Waubonsee Valley and to go down as the first Scholastic Bowl team in our school's 50-year history to win the IHSA championship. And of course, we hope to continue the tradition. Thank you again for this recognition, and I'd like to turn it over to our captain, Vikram, to say a few words.
Vikram.
Thank you so much, Ms. Golminas, Mayor Irvin, and the Aurora City Council today for having us. It's such an honor and a privilege to be here. I know you have many important matters to attend to, so I'll keep this a little bit brief, but I joined this team as a freshman, and I've been honored to have been here for the last 4 years. And watching this team grow from a small collection of students to being this year the top team in the state has been absolutely heartwarming. And I know that this would not have been possible without a great many people, without the support of our school, principal Mr. Stipp, our school district, Superintendent Talley, our coaches, Mrs. Golminas and Mrs. Casey, and really the Aurora community as a whole for fostering such a great environment for learning. And I just want to say to everyone in this room, thank you so much.
Wow. Vikram, awesome. And we'd like to present to you, on behalf of the City of Aurora, our City State Championship Trophy for your team, everyone. We'll ask, before the mayor presents his proclamation, if Alderwoman Smith has any word.
Now that I'm forced my way up front, I guess I get to say a few words. It's really hard to follow what the students have said. You guys, Waubonsee Valley has always been my favorite place. I feel like I do bleed green. My kids all went to Waubonsee. But to have this be the first time ever that this championship happened, good for you guys. Keep it up, and we're going to be looking for more next year. Congratulations.
Awesome. And now we ask everybody to gather around as the mayor presents his proclamation. We can all squeeze
So it is
in.
my honor to read this proclamation for Waubonsee Valley Scholastic Bowl Team Day, March 22nd. Whereas the City of Aurora proudly honors the academic achievements of students who embody excellence, determination, and commitment to lifelong learning. And whereas the Waubonsee Valley High School Scholastic Bowl team exemplifies these qualities, competing in rigorous 5-on-5 academic matches, answering complex toss-up and bonus questions across the broad spectrum of subjects. And whereas the Waubonsee Valley Scholastic Bowl team dominated the competition, completing an undefeated conference season, including a commanding 600 to 110 victory over their conference rival, Naperville North High School. Come on, that deserves a round of applause. Come on. Whereas the team's journey to the IHSA state championship included decisive victories at regionals and sectionals over Bolingbrook High School and Illinois Mathematics and Science Academy, culminating in a perfect 23-0 season. Wow. Whereas on Saturday, March 22nd, 2025, the Waubonsee Valley Scholastic Bowl team achieved the ultimate triumph by defeating Stevenson High School 450 to 410 to capture the 2025 Class 2A IHSA State Scholastic Bowl Championship title, marking a historic achievement for the school and the community. So now, therefore, I, Mayor Richard C. Irvin, do hereby proclaim March 22nd as Waubonsee Valley Scholastic Bowl Team Day in the City of Aurora from this point forward. Give it up for the Warriors! The champs are here!
B-roll. Make some noise with Waubonsee Valley. Congratulations to the state champs. Thanks for representing your school and our community. We appreciate you all. We're so proud of you. Thank you. Appreciate it. You may take your seats. Thank you so much, champs. You may take your seats. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Thank you. And as the mayor takes his seat, we want to remind everyone that 3 weeks from tonight will be our 2025 mayoral and aldermanic inauguration at the Paramount Theater at 6:30. You can get your register for your seats online now. There's over 1,000 seats that have already been registered for. And so get your seats in quickly as we celebrate, as we transition here in the city of Aurora. Thank you so much, Mayor and the City Council.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. And I see we have a lot of students out in the audience, and I'm sure you guys have to get home prepared for school tomorrow. So before we go on to the next portion of the agenda, I will give everyone that would like to an opportunity to file out so you can get ready for class tomorrow and keep winning those matches. Wow. Congratulations again, Wabansi. You're very welcome. All right, so those folks that are still here with the City Council would like to stay throughout the meeting, and we appreciate your participation and attendance at today's City Council meeting. All right, let's go on to the next portion of the agenda, mayoral appointments. There are none, so we can go on to the staff reports. Today, on 25-0217, the Aurora Regional Economic Alliance, the Alliance, first quarter report. Ms. O'Brien, you want to give a report? Alliance?
Does it matter which one?
Both of them work, so you can use both of them if you'd like.
Well, good afternoon, Council. My name is Kelly O'Brien, and we really appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight. I want to, again, thank the mayor-elect, all the council members for the support and the interest that you have shown with the Alliance. And, you know, watching the presentation of awards to the students. Number one, it's so inspiring. Wasn't it fun to just see the excitement and the pride? And I've spent 20 years in economic development. I've worked on the local level, the regional level, and the federal level. And what inspires me is because economic development at the end of the day is about creating jobs. And you know what? It's jobs for the young people that we had in this room just a minute ago. It's jobs so that they can come back. If they stay in Aurora for college or they go somewhere else, that they come back and there are the jobs of tomorrow that are here. And that is what drives us. And so with that, I'm going to be, is David Debo in the room? Oh, David, come on up. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide our update into 4 different portions. And I know we're going to do this quickly, but we wanted to talk a little bit about the relationship between MOED and the Alliance, particularly because I know in the past there have been years when there was not a good working relationship, but everybody benefits when there is a good working relationship. And so David, if you could just spend literally 2 minutes or less just talking about the work that we do.
I've never spoken for 2 minutes. Thank you, Kelly. So I'm just going to give a very brief overview. I think what everybody usually wants to understand is how does this economic development thing work, and how does that divide between MOED and what now is the Alliance. And I just want to start with a brief definition of economic development, which focuses on improving the economic well-being and quality of life for residents and businesses. This involves strategies to attract and retain businesses, create jobs, enhance infrastructure, and promote overall prosperity. And there's a lot of definitions, but just in a big picture. So when you look at that world, what we do under the direction of the administration at MOED is we execute. We try to make the thing happen. So there could be a great idea, but somebody's got to go and figure out how did that happen. So I was thinking back, getting ready for this meeting, when we started about the big boxes, and there were these 4 big boxes that were vacant, and it just was an eyesore, and there was, not an opportunity for jobs and so on. It was the old Walmart, and the old Cub Food, and the old Lowe's, and the Carsons. And if you look back now, you see that they're all filled with, HelloFresh and 2,000 jobs, and the Cub Food and Lindsay Windows. So that's what we do here at MOED, is we work the driving facility, which is about to, or just opened over there at the Carson. So that's what we do, is working within the context of the administration, is try to make it happen, because you see the end result, but there's a lot of work in terms of the attorneys and structuring the deals and so on. So that's the kind of stuff we do at MOED. We obviously work to fulfill the vacant stores downtown, the vacant buildings that we had. The mall, when we got here, the mall was, the Fox Valley Mall was in deep trouble. We got the apartments built. A couple of weeks ago, you all approved a tenant, the Soul Spot in the mall. Those are the kind of things, those details to get somebody in business. That's the kind of things that we do. The affordable housing deals, Todd and Lincoln. I don't want to go through the whole recap, but that's the kind of stuff that MOED does. We also do a lot of things that you don't see on a much kind of quieter level. So this week we were working on a problem with an easement that a business had, and if we couldn't get the easement problem fixed, then a development wouldn't proceed. Or another business that's having a problem with a loan, and we've taken loans. I've taken loans as a business person and not been able to pay the loans, and we understand what that's like. So we work with the businesses and we try to restructure, and we work with the banks. When we did the deal with El Paso, they had some issues with the banks and getting the Aldi done and how to figure those deals out. So we do, I would say, the day-to-day grunt stuff to try to make the quality of life and the prosperity better. That's what we do. We have a wonderful staff of 5 or 6 people. If there's problems with permits, I think you'll hear about it a little bit later on today, we bring in our people to try to work with John Curley's group in terms of getting the permits expedited and so on. That's what we do. But what don't we do? We don't have time to do the retention and the attraction visits that a city needs. So this city is chock full of incredible businesses, small and large businesses, whether you're talking about the CME or Amazon, the Mercantile Exchange, or smaller businesses. And while we have a lot of those relationships, and those relationships led to the data center deal that we did and things like that, we are not necessarily going out and attracting new businesses. So when we did that big data center deal, we heard about the data center deal from the landowner. In another world, we would be attracting a business that we think should come here. And that's the kind of stuff that the Alliance, the Invest Aurora, the old Invest Aurora, would be doing, is creating those relationships with those businesses and working with them. And again, we do that anecdotally when we did, let's say, the HelloFresh deal or the Cub Food. So we know different people, but that's not as scientific and methodical as what they need to do over there at the Alliance. So that's a lot of the stuff that we don't do. Another thing that is critical that we don't have the staff and time to do, not oriented to do it, is all this data collection. When you do a deal and you approve a deal like the Copley deal or something like that, or you want to know what's the ramification, what's the result, what happened to the assessments in the area or in the 2 miles around it. How successful? How do you measure success? And that's something that's critical that, again, my group doesn't do, because we're out there doing the deals, working all that stuff out. That's the kind of stuff that the Alliance does. So to us, it's a very critical need to make sure that this is done in a city. It's done all over the country. We don't attend a lot of conferences, but when we do, it's always spoken about in terms of economic development and how important that business attraction. When you're out there talking to the businesses, you're learning, you're doing market research. You're talking to them and you're figuring out what's going on, why are they in Aurora, what employment needs do they do, and they could feed that back to the colleges and so on. So that's a very important thing that, again, we would love to do, but we don't do. We're not geared. The Alliance is geared to do it. So I hope that's okay. Anything else? All right.
Are my remarks?
I do that. Okay. Oh, that was, no, this one. No, I.
Okay.
Okay.
Excuse me 1 second.
Okay.
I think I should put that on.
All right. Thank you.
I apologize for the delay. So tonight, the Alliance has had a very busy Q1, and we are off to a very strong start. There are 3 overarching points that I'd like to share right out of the box. Number 1, The Alliance platform is modeled after extensive research and is a proven successful structure for communities supporting the highest level of job creation. It is a major step forward that these organizations that came together are no longer siloed and instead under one umbrella, improving efficiencies and strengthening the ability to achieve the original missions. Number two, the Alliance is committed to building both a diverse leadership board representing all of Aurora's businesses, from small to large, and a professional staff supported by top flight consultants. Number three, the Alliance is operated with strict financial controls and oversight. Our chairman, Don Pilmer, will provide that part of our update. In your board packet, the Alliance included 6 attachments, including a list of the board members, and I am proud to have these business leaders working with us on almost a daily basis. And one of our board members, Jessica Medrano, the owner of R.J. O'Neill, is here tonight to provide her insights on board service. Jessica?
Thank you again for having us here tonight. My name is Jessica Medrano. I am the owner of R.J. O'Neill, a minority and women certified business. R.J. O'Neill has been servicing the city of Aurora for over 99 years, and I'm proud to say that I grew up here, raised here. My daughter goes to school here, and I'm very passionate about the business growth that we have before us. The Alliance Board consists of over 40 businesses in the Aurora region, and we truly believe that coming together on this platform is something that we've needed for a long time. Because if it didn't come in this collaboration, we probably would never speak to each other. It's critical that we create space and work opportunities for the new coming generations, and it's also very impressive that we also have a national team and a strong board with TIP. Their plan is to strengthen our industries and also create job creations for the kids. The Alliance also plays an important role in our innovation. We do have the president of Aurora University and Waubonsee Community College serving on our board, which is really great for the workforce. So nervous. Being a member has allowed us to collaborate. Our meetings have been strong. The excitement is there, and I thank you for your time, and I hope that we can continue to help City of Aurora grow.
Thank you, Jessica. I do want to note that the board is evolving. There are both financial and service obligations to sit on the board, which are being finalized through the strategic planning process. The board will continue to evolve and change as the Alliance continues its work, and I will continue to keep you updated on those changes. It is a very long list of what was accomplished in Q1. I mean, things like organizing a contest to select a name, hiring a local graphic design artist to create our logo and launch our website, organize the launch event on January 31st, really roll up our sleeves to get into the nooks and crannies of the businesses that came under the umbrella, do staff assessments, hire consultants. It is really a mix of reorganization as well as working like a startup. 4 rather larger accomplishments that I'd like to highlight include, number 1, our strategic planning process with TIP strategies. Literally over 500 people have been invited to participate in the stakeholder engagement portion of this process. More than a dozen focus groups and interviews have been held. I want to thank the members of the council that have taken the time to speak with TIP strategies, and it's not too late. So if you've not had an opportunity, we really do want to hear from you. And the strategic plan is all about understanding the needs from government, academia, and the private sector, where we can work together to, again, make our economy the most competitive that it can be and to grow jobs. One of the meetings that we recently held was with owners of the SSA1. I was thrilled to be able to not only, invite all the SSA1 owners, but what TIP did was they divided the participants into groups. And there was feedback that we heard from the groups, like they wanted to be on the Destination Aurora app. Within 1 week, we had that done. we're doing things a little different than the way they were done last year, as an example, where the April 1st Friday was the first that the Alliance organized, and we put out a press release. That press release garnered an article in the Beacon, Chicago Tribune, as well as the Patch. We worked with business owners with hiding eggs that really increase traffic for First Fridays, especially, with families. We're really listening to the SSA1 owners, and not only from the standpoint of what's the traditional downtown work, but I'm really excited about the retention visits that we have done, and that's number 2. So it came to my attention for various reasons that retention visits were not really done for a number of years. And so while we are still fine-tuning the process, I'm excited to share that we have met just in Q1 with more than 30 businesses. In order to get those meetings, more than 500 emails went out asking businesses to meet with us. And in some cases, the staff will literally just get in their car and block out a certain number of hours and go and walk into a business. And if a business owner is available to meet, they'll meet. And if not, they'll schedule a time to come back. But it's those kind of interactions that provide such valuable insights in terms of the businesses that may be struggling, and there may be tools in the toolbox that we can do to help them, or businesses that are expanding, and there are tools in the toolbox that we have to help them, or maybe just some of the resources like some of the grants and loans that we administer. So those kind of conversations are turning out to be extremely fruitful. A third item that I would like to talk about is the work that we are doing with Convergent. Convergent is a firm that really specializes in working with organizations like the Alliance, a Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development Corporation, and they help put in the pieces for the funding. So we have 3 statements of work that we are embarking upon with this firm. They will be in Aurora tomorrow to kick things off. So the first piece of the statement of work is really looking at the chamber side of the house and helping to restructure the dues and benefits in order to bring on, do a membership drive and to really increase that private sector investment in our work. The second piece of the statement of work is to do a survey so that we really understand the industries in Aurora and the Aurora region that would fund our big initiatives that will be outlined in the strategic plan. And once we have an idea of what we can realistically expect from businesses that nobody has ever knocked on their door. But the experience is in other communities when we put together these plans and the businesses understand why it will have a positive impact for their business. They are more likely to create, very significant financial contributions. And we are doing it in a way, again, that is based on data and evidence and with proven strategies. The fourth partnership that I'd like to talk about is with a company called SummerCore. And SummerCore is a lending firm. They've been in business since the early 1990s. It is so exciting that we will be working with them to help manage our grant and loan portfolio, and not only to manage it, but to provide new financing products to Aurora's businesses. So we have just kicked off that partnership, and the contract will also be, from a marketing perspective, to help get the word out to more businesses. I do want to do a shout out to the president and CEO of SummerCore, Manny Flores. Manny, thank you for being here today, and thank you for all of the work that you and your team are doing with the Alliance. It really brings a whole new level of sophistication to what we are embarking upon. And so with that, I'd like to hand the presentation off to Don Pilmer. Don?
Thanks, Kelly, and thank you for allowing us the opportunity to provide an update this evening. I'm Don Pilmer. I'm a near 60-year resident of the city of Aurora, and I've had the privilege to work in the city for the past 35-plus years. The Alliance was formed to move Aurora forward. The individual entities that were in place in the past weren't operating efficiently, and there was redundancy in their outreach and missions. At the Alliance, our mission continues to be supporting the business community, growing the Aurora economy, and bringing jobs to our community. We're proud to be part of the second largest city in the state of Illinois, and supporting existing and new businesses of all size remains first and foremost. During this past quarter, as Kelly said, we held Alliance Executive Board meetings and our first quarterly Alliance Board meeting in March. Our focus remains building our foundation, including assembling a team that will continue to move the Alliance forward. Our board did establish a finance committee to provide financial oversight, along with implementing prudent procedures and controls. This committee is responsible for providing detailed financial reporting at each monthly Alliance Executive Board meeting. In addition, we've hired a full-time accounting manager to handle our day-to-day accounting needs, as well as a local accounting firm to handle our monthly and annual accounting needs. As in the past, we're required to file a Form 990 with the state of Illinois, as well as complete a full financial audit on an annual basis. On behalf of our board, I can assure you that we continue to operate efficiently and respectfully with regards to the investment contributed by the city of Aurora. We believe it was critical in demonstrating to the entire Aurora community the support behind the economic development initiative. That investment, along with the financial support received from the private sector, has positioned the Alliance to be ready to execute on our strategic plan, which will be complete during the third quarter. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Questions from the council based on the presentation? All right, well, thank you very much.
If I may, one last
All right,
thing,
go ahead.
literally 30 seconds. If we could cue up the video, it's a shameless plug. We are kicking off a program called Aurora, It's Your Business. It will be taped twice a month, and we will be on the cable access channel. We'll be on a YouTube channel. We will share this link in our weekly newsletters. The audio will be turned into a podcast, but what we're really doing is really profiling Aurora's business leaders, as well as covering important topics. We had our first taping last week with Greg Moore with the casino. Next week, we're going to be filming with two women of color, small business women who, one business, Halo Heat, is celebrating their 1-year anniversary, and we're so excited about that. And then the first taping in May, we have secured two leaders in the Hispanic business community. So our goal, again, is to have a very diverse conversations to make sure that we're really getting the word out of all that is here in Aurora. So if you'd indulge me, I'd just like you to see the opening of our new show. Don't miss an episode, and I look forward to seeing you at the end of the next quarter. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, let's go on to the next portion of the agenda, public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any members of the public wishing to offer public comment?
We do, Mr. Mayor.
Please read the rules of public comment.
Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, all persons shall be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the council. Under our rules, any person may address the city council for up to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. No person other than the timekeeper or the chair, for the purpose of maintaining order, may interrupt a person recognized for public comment during his or her comments. Members of the City Council shall not engage with nor respond to a speaker during the time set aside for public comment. Staff is directed to follow up with members of the public with respect to any concerns raised during public comment within the scope of the city's authority following the adjournment of this meeting.
Madam Clerk, call the first speaker wishing to offer public comment.
Angela Collier.
Ms. Collier, you have 3 minutes to speak. It's fine. 3 minutes to speak beginning now.
Hello, Mayor Irving and City Council members. I am so tired. We just completed, my salon is finally open, and I wanted to thank the City Council. I came before the City Council, and when I come before you, I come before you with a purpose. It's really been hard just trying to get this salon open after we lost our salon due to redevelopment downtown. So I want to today thank David Debo and Carlos, if they can stand with me, and John Curley. I have a certain level of respect for these men because this salon would not be open without their help. I've taken some classes with at JJC on real estate, but I wasn't prepared for the codes to make this salon safe for children and for anyone that will come in to patronize me. The name of my salon is Angela's Hair Salon and Beauty Supply, and I do have my legal document from the city. I want everyone to see. So we are located at 205 North Lake Street, Unit 102. And I do want to thank the owner of the building, Kevin Fitzpatrick Pop Properties. This man opened up his door for me, so I have to appreciate him on tonight. And also, I want to thank Alderman Bugg. And Alderman Bugg, you bring tears to my eye to think about how you care about the children in your ward, and Alderwoman Smith. When I came to your ward to do the Easter program, you both stepped up and provided Easter baskets for the children. Remember, I put your picture on the baskets so the children would know who the aldermen were in their ward. I'm just so glad for Walmart store manager Jake at the Kirk Road. They provide $4,000 for Easter baskets. These children would not have a basket without Walmart and with the City Council. So I ask you to continue, and Alderman Seville, thank you for stopping by and letting me know you're gonna take care of those tree trunks there. So Alderman, I just wanna say thank you. Alderman Barrero, thank you for being my alderman. You know, you have showed me and my husband that you care about us and you're gonna help us. And I thank you all tonight, and keep us in prayer. I'm a tired woman, but I'm ready to do some hair. In Jesus' name.
Madam Clerk, call the next speaker.
Laura Evans.
Ms. Evans, you have 3 minutes to speak beginning now.
Still have concerns over the proposed truck stop at the Olin deal. The increase in noise pollution, it's already getting out of hand. Today was another monumentous day for the noise in our neighborhood. So having this will increase the noise pollution that we already have in our neighborhood, especially from jake breaking. We're concerned about the community safety near Mattia Valley High School and the Prairie Path. The increase in traffic on Eola and Deal, especially if they miss the left-hand turn into it, they're gonna go straight to the next light, which is Old Molitor Road, and they're gonna take a right through a non-truck neighborhood. That's our neighborhood. So we're concerned about that traffic. We're concerned about the ComEd substation, railroad tracks, and underground natural gas lines nearby. Even though it's supposed to be thick, it's still a marshy land. Last week's presentation, the truck stop was referred to as not really a truck stop, but a gas station. So let's have a gas station with diesel lines. We don't need DEF to be at hand on the stations. Just make a gas station just like 7-Eleven, just like the BP by Wabanzi. Let's have what they have. So build what you're calling it. Since the city has chosen less industrial options in our neighborhoods, such as the data centers, there is less need for trucks to fill up at a truck stop. They were mentioning the 88 was going to be not gone after for traffic, but you still have your phone apps, your gas buddies, and everything else. So if the city can guarantee that this is not going to be any problem for us and are willing to offer us abatements if this does come to fruition and we're right and you're wrong, we're fine with it. So just work with us a little bit. Is getting to the point where it just seems like the residents of Aurora are not being considered. And this is a great opportunity to show the residents that you really care about us and the students and the community nearby. We don't want to move. We want to stay where we're at, but please show us a little respect and slow it down, because it does feel like all of a sudden we heard about it a week ago and it's just boom, happening. So please take our thoughts into consideration. Thank you for your time.
Madam Clerk, call the next speaker.
Bruce Goldsmith.
Mr. Goldsmith, you have 3 minutes to speak, beginning now.
I've never done that. But thank you, your mayor and members of City Council. I'm here for a thank you and not for business. I don't have a client tonight. First time in over 40 years I'm coming before you. So in 1910, my grandfather came here somewhere from Poland, Russia, but probably Lithuania. Set up a shoe store shop on North Broadway. My father was on the New York Street Bridge with the East Aurora High School band for the opening of the bridge. My aunt was on the stage of the Paramount for the opening of the Paramount with the East Aurora High School band. The mayor did not pay me to make those comments. Fast forward, and in the early 1970s, my father brought Fox Valley East to both Aurora and Naperville. Naperville said they wouldn't cross Route 59. Aurora said, we'll take it. And we now have a great community in Aurora. My father later had a major developer in the 80s who wanted to, who brought the shopping center on North Lake Street with the Jewel. My father said, we want a sit-down national chain restaurant. He said, there's no way you're going to get a sit-down national chain restaurant west of 59. And that was true for many years. So fast forward some more, and now we've got restaurants, we've got a wonderful Paramount Theater, we have wonderful other theater opportunities, we have bragging rights with a number of businesses in the downtown, we have a beautiful reconstructed downtown, and we have the base for development, which include the data center that David Devo referenced, which one of my clients brought to the city. So I have to say that it's been a wonderful time for my family over 100 years in Aurora, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, call the next speaker.
Rick Lawrence.
Mr. Lawrence, you have 3 minutes to speak, beginning now.
Yeah, I wanted to bug you. Asked a question last week, and I want to commend you on that question. I didn't think you got a great answer on it. When you asked why is Aurora giving the subsidies to the car dealer and Naperville doesn't. Somebody came up and said, well, they put in a test track so car dealers go over there. It's not true. It has to do with economics. But why we give money out? Because that's just what we do in Aurora. We hand out tens of millions of dollars. It started 40 years ago, but then it was for sods and awnings and things like that for businesses. Then it turned into Roundhouse and Downer Loft. Here's an example. A guy owed us $4 million forever. Owed the taxpayers $4 million. I guess we just settled that lawsuit for $600,000. Taxpayers lost all kinds of money on that. The Shodine project. Cost us taxpayers nearly $10 million. Nothing. Our Wadey over at the Elks Club, millions of dollars into that before they got somebody else in there. You know, your sneaker guy took all kinds of money. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars now you're trying to evict them from the property? Restaurant Row, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars into that. You know, Morton's keeps going. Hopefully moving forward, we're not just throwing money at every restaurant that walks in or whoever Alex goes to dinner with, comes in with a new idea and we fund it for $1 million. You know, so when you ask why do we do it and they don't, it's what we do. We just hand money out. Very little metrics, very little consequence if they don't follow through. If we lose money, we don't like to talk about it because you can't have failure. And you can't hold anybody responsible for when we lose all these millions of dollars of the taxpayers' money. So you were right to ask that question, and you didn't get a good answer. It's not because of a test track. It's because of economics. And that's why. But Aurora has to do better with the taxpayers' money and not just hand it out to everyone. That car dealer isn't guaranteeing you any increase in sales, isn't guaranteeing you any return on that, on the taxpayer investment of the $13 million in tax rebate. They're not saying we're going to double our sales. They're not saying they're going to increase it by 50 cents or 50%, and then the taxpayers are going to receive a huge return on that investment. You know why they came in? Because they know you'll give it to them. That's why. That's why everybody comes in. That's why you're funding $54,000 a unit on on the apartment building over here. Nobody does that. No other city does that. But we do. So why do they get it? because they can ask and they can get it without much question and without much.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Call the next speaker.
Adam Pauly.
Mr. Paul, you have 3 minutes to speak, beginning now.
Thank you. I rise today to say thank you, to express my gratitude for these last 8 years and throughout my life and beyond. My family's been in this community since the 1850s. You can find a picture of us having the first gas tractor in the area at the library. They were some of the first people to ask, what if? Those what ifs were much more simpler. What if we had roads? What if we had schools? What if we had churches? But we kept asking those what ifs. And we planted those seeds. They planted those seeds, and we're continuing to do that. And sometimes even those littler things that we do, whether it be planting a tree or a city council appointment to a youth council seat, to somebody who you've never met before, or planting a tree, or putting in an opioid vending machine. Little things that took very little time have changed the trajectory of my life and our community. And we're going to continue to ask, what if? We have a great group of people coming up, innovators who see our community not just as it is now, but as it could be. Our brightest days are still ahead, and we're going to continue to ask, what if? We're going to continue to innovate, and we're going to continue to be here for the next 150 years. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, does that conclude our speakers?
It does, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Let's go on to the next portion of the agenda. There's no public hearings. Next, we'll hear both the consent agenda and the direct to council consent agenda in full. Will the clerk please read both agendas in full?
250127, a resolution approving estimated payments not to exceed $114,000 to Suburban Law Enforcement Academy for police recruit training in 2025. 250221, a resolution to award the 2025 manhole rehabilitation to National Power Rodding Corporation in the bid amount of $391,272. 250242, a resolution awarding the bid to Service Sanitation Incorporated located in Aurora, Illinois for portable toilet rental service for various City of Aurora divisions. 250243, a resolution establishing the maximum number of Class D Fox Valley Mall Entertainment District on-site consumption liquor licenses unofficially related to the application from Food Diva LLC at 4250 Fox Valley Center Drive in Ward 10. 250247, an ordinance establishing a conditional use plan development, approving the Harvest Point plan description and amending Chapter 49 of the Code of Ordinances by modifying the zoning map attached thereto to an underlying zoning of R2 one family dwelling district and OS1 conservation, open space, and drainage for the property located east of Radant Road and north of Butterfield Road. 250248, an ordinance amending Chapter 49 of the Code of Ordinances by modifying the zoning map attached thereto to rezone approximately 0.3 acres of the property located east of Radant Road and north of Butterfield Road from R1C one family dwelling district with a conditional use to R1 one family dwelling district to remove the property from the Marmion Academy plan description. 250249, a resolution approving a preliminary plan and plat for lots 1 through 62 of Harvest Point subdivision on vacant land located east of Radant Road and north of Butterfield Road. 250252, a resolution authorizing the execution of a labor agreement between the City of Aurora and Local 461 of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, AFL-CIO. 250253, a resolution authorizing the execution of a Phase 2 engineering agreement with H.R. Green, maximum amount of $153,789, and appropriating motor fuel tax funds for the city's safe routes to school projects in school districts 129, 131, and 204. 250260, a resolution authorizing Crawford, Murphy, and Tilly to provide professional engineering services to the Water Production Division for a new water well construction project in an amount not to exceed $195,990. 250262, a resolution authorizing Engineering Enterprises to provide professional engineering services for the Church Road Elevated Water Storage Tank Rehabilitation Project for the Water Production Division in the not to exceed amount of $206,149. 250268, a resolution to approve a rental agreement with East Aurora School District 131 for the City of Aurora's Youth Services Division. 250269, a resolution to approve a rental agreement with West Aurora School District 129 for the City of Aurora's Youth Services Division. 250271, a resolution to award the Chatham Road Circle Water Main Improvements Project located in Ward 5 to Miller Pipeline in the bid amount of $721,605. 250273, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to execute a contract with Rubino Engineering in the amount of $67,055 for materials testing at River Edge Park. 250277, a resolution establishing the maximum number of Class D Fox Valley Mall Entertainment District on-site consumption liquor licenses unofficially related to the application from Catherine's Place at 1300 Fox Valley Center Drive in Ward 10. 250278, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing or their designee to execute a service agreement with Oxcart Permit Systems for the creation and processing of online overweight and oversized commercial motor vehicle permit applications. 250286, a resolution authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to execute contracts with electricity suppliers to provide electricity to the City of Aurora. 250288, a resolution authorizing the execution of sales tax revenue sharing agreement with Valley Honda to modernize and expand its existing dealership location. 250290, an ordinance amending the Ward 8 budget for the fiscal year 2025. 250291, a resolution authorizing the execution of a labor agreement between the City of Aurora and the Association of Professional Police Officers from January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2028. 250307, a resolution approving the appointment of Stephen A. Stemmett as Deputy Police Chief. 250319, an ordinance amending Chapter 27, specifically Section 27-176, parking commercial vehicles, trailers, truck trailers, and truck tractors in residential districts.
So moved.
250318, approval of the minutes of Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 City Council meeting. 250334, a resolution accepting the improvements and waiving the maintenance security for BNSF Eola Rail Yard expansion, Railroad west of Farnsworth and east of McClure Road. 250338, an ordinance authorizing the execution of an easement agreement between the City of Aurora and Marmion for the property located east of Radden Road and north of Butterfield Road.
Second. There's been a motion made by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Franco. Before we consider those motions, are there any questions on any items on either agenda, consent agenda, or the direct to council consent agenda, or any motions to remove any items from either agenda? Alderman Lash.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to remove agenda item 250307. The purpose is just to make sure that the incoming Deputy Chief Stemmett and Chief Thomas are both voted on separately and equally. And then I have one other question.
Well, all right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's been a motion, a second, to remove that item from the consent agenda. Question, discussion? Go ahead.
And then just on, I see that AA sent us, or somebody gave us this list of hourly wages for Valley Honda. The question 250288, which is currently on consent. Do we know if these amounts include the profit sharing that was mentioned during the COW meeting? And I have one follow-up question on that.
Alex Alexandru, Chief Management Officer. Alderman Leish, they do not.
Okay, so those are just straight hourly wages?
Yes, sir.
And I also assume then that the sale consultants on line 2 do not, that number does not include commissions?
I don't believe it does. It does? If you'd like, we can have Mr. Casey come on up.
Yes, Alderman, those are average rates. So when we take the commissions and average them out, that's what the hourly rate would come out to.
Okay,
That's
and
something- that's
and then your
something
base
we
pay is
provide
$25 an hour for the porters?
I'm sorry?
Your base pay for the porters is base pay, or is that average also?
It's an average. It's an average.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further questions or motions to remove any items from the consent agenda or direct to council consent agenda? There being none, Madam Clerk, you call the roll?
Alderman Barrero?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade? Yes. Alderman Lash?
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. The consent agenda and the direct to council consent agenda are both approved, minus the item that is going to be taking off the consent agenda. Let's go on to the next section of the agenda, unfinished business. Madam Clerk, will you read the first item under unfinished business?
250077, a resolution approving the renewal of an agreement for consulting services with Marketplace.city for the purpose of performing technology purchasing services for a 3-year term with an additional 2-year option for a total award of $375,000.
So moved.
There's a motion by Franco, seconded by Alderman Smith. Questions? I see there's a presentation. Mr. Anderson.
We do have a presentation, Mayor. Thank you.
All right.
Mayor and Council, Jeff Anderson, Deputy CIO. So a brief one here. Talk about how we've used Marketplace. The city has used Marketplace since 2019. Currently, the city pays no upfront fees at all to Marketplace. It's all direct between Marketplace and the vendors. The model is performance-based, where they get a percentage of the initial contract value once we select a winner. Okay. So far, and we've got in slides here, we show we've captured $2 million in savings across the partnership. To date, Marketplace has worked on over 40 projects with the city. We've got 11 current, actually, that number is actually 9 currently active. Relationship, the project has evolved over 5 years. Marketplace has now expanded their services, and so what we're asking to do here is take advantage of some of their data and portal services that they have going forward. And on the next slide, we have Chris Minnick can talk about how Marketplace has helped us from a procurement standpoint. It's really a procurement vehicle.
Thank you. Chris Minnick, Chief Financial Officer. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Yeah, essentially Marketplace City acts as an extension of the city's procurement and purchasing department. And they really provide a lot of services to us. In essence, they act as a facilitator. That's their role. And they pretty much deliver a turnkey service for us so that we can evaluate and make decisions on technology and technological procurements as we go through, and they allow us to take advantage of their team, their knowledge, their expertise, and their experience, what they've seen out in the marketplace. So when I say they're for a facilitator, what do they facilitate? Well, essentially the entire process. They begin by helping us develop the needs analysis documents. They will meet with staff. They will ask questions. What are our goals? They'll offer us options. They'll ask us what kinds of items we want to see and what we want to accomplish with the technology procurement we're doing. They then take that feedback, they prepare the technical specifications, prepare a request for proposals, and then they take care of the process of distributing that, receiving the responses back from the individual vendors. They then summarize the responses that we get back from the vendors. They actually digitize them. They will provide an overview of each vendor's response, and then each of the documents that was received back as part of the vendor response is available electronically to the staff team to be able to go back and review any piece of information that a vendor would have responded with. Then from that particular point, they will help us coordinate the meetings and the interviews that we will have with the firms selected. Staff will go through, it's actually the city staff that goes through a scoring process based on their read and their review of those responses that we get. And then the staff will make a determination as to which vendors we wish to interview. From there, we may boil it down to a round of finalists. Again, that's done based on staff scoring, staff opinions, and the choices that the staff wants to make. Then they'll coordinate the demonstrations that we have with the vendors. If we're going to actually sit down and see a software demonstration, either on site or online, they'll facilitate that process. And they'll help in the aggregation of the final city staff scoring of the solutions. And then they'll create that briefing packet that you see that's included in the technological procurements that we bring forward to you. And all of these services are included in the 7% fee that the vendor pays. The city does not come out of pocket for these expenditures and these services. Their fee, Marketplace City's fee, is based and paid by the vendor once that contract is awarded. And these services would continue under the proposal that we have. And we do estimate that if we were to try to take these services in-house, we would need to procure probably about somewhere between 1 to 2 procurement full-time equivalents. Then there might be somebody on the IT side as well, because they are very technical specifications, very technical documents that are developed as part of this process. Typically, there are a lot of software integrations, and we need to make sure that the systems that we do procure are compatible, and they assist us in that process. So that's the role that they play. And then, essentially, as I mentioned, they facilitate, staff makes the decision, we bring those requests to you then.
Thank you, Mr. Minnick. Again, Jeff Anderson, WCO. And just what we wanted to show here is we do have two of the Marketplace folks here with us. Although they have a nationwide reach, they are local Chicagoland based out of downtown Chicago and Evanston. So we'll introduce Nathaniel and Chris introduce themselves.
Mr. Mayor, council members, my name is Nathaniel Alnajar. I'm the Customer Success Director at Marketplace.City. I have worked on all of our shared initiatives with the City of Aurora between Marketplace.City and the City of Aurora since 2021. I'm on every kickoff. I'm working with project teams to develop craft those solicitations, manage proactive vendor outreach, work through data when it comes back. Actually, the first thing I did this morning with an Aurora team as well for that, and then ultimately be able to help facilitate that decision-making process towards the end. It's the city staff that is making decisions every part of the way. We are trying to design solicitations and then data packets that come back to staff to highlight places of differences between vendors, but then obviously city staff is making those decisions themselves, and then we wrap up the entire arc of that procurement into those final briefing packets, which I'm sure a couple of you have seen, to document every step of the way. We, not only beyond our, multi times a week meeting with city staff, everyone from public works to the public safety departments to human resources have used us. We are also marrying our end-to-end procurement process with a much more robust data platform on market landscapes for, kind of core municipal technology procurements that we've made much more robust over the last several years, and is something that we're proposing today.
Thanks, Dan. My name is Chris Foreman. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Marketplace.City. Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, thank you for listening to us today and considering this proposal. I was here in 2019 when we launched this partnership. It was innovative across the nation. That in no other example could you find that a partnership between a city and a corporation would manage a procurement in a way that didn't require upfront payment by the city, didn't require covering costs, time and materials. It was strictly performance-based. That was very unique. It has now set a standard nationally that cities and counties across the country are following. Over 6 years, we've grown, we've evolved, we've maintained, survived through a pandemic and a lot of challenges as a startup company. Now what we're asking is for the city to adjust and extend its agreement with us so that now you're paying an annual membership in addition to the 7%. What's happened over the course of the last 6 years is that every other customer that has followed you has agreed to similar terms. And so what we're asking is, over time, we've been patient, we've worked with the city, we've definitely benefited from our relationship here, but that we're asking that now that we've expanded our product and we expanded our services, the data that we offer, that the city, pay that the annual amount equivalent to the other peers in the local government space. So as you can see in the slides, there are some representative examples of the yearly savings, both in resource hours, but also contracted savings. And I'll add that the contracted savings are inclusive of any of the fees that we've collected. So we're not adding fees or subtracting from this in order to pay our fees. That is inclusive of any fees that we've collected, and have not charged the city a dime in the 6 years that we've been working this relationship. We also go into a number of selective projects that we've worked on over the years. As you can see, there are critical cybersecurity projects, critical infrastructure projects, critical public safety projects that are very large and oftentimes would last up to 2 years of work before being completed and signed by the city. And that's 2 years of our staff working without any reimbursement, without any payment from the city, on the hope that the city would, finally complete and purchase, and we may be able to earn something from that work, but with no strings attached if you decided to cancel and decided to kill a project, or because there was no funding for a project. The city didn't have to pay a fine, didn't have to pay fees or anything. And that was something that we agreed to, and that we certainly took on that risk ourselves as a small startup company. But now we're asking for the next generation of our partnership, so we can continue to work on these projects, whether they go to completion or not, so that we can support the city and also provide access to a platform that we've built that's aggregating historical transaction data on what other governments are purchasing, the prices that they're paying, the contract vehicles that they're using, to help make sure that the City of Aurora continues to get the best price from the best vendors in the market. So we appreciate your time today. Any other questions? But I'll pass it over to Jeff if you want to highlight anything else.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Nathaniel. I won't go over the eye chart we have here in front of you, but just to cover a couple things in here. Hopefully we've discussed how this is more of an interactive RFP process for the city. And we can go back and forth with several different vendors. We're not submitting a document and hoping we get responses back, right? So one example here is with the police body cameras that we went through. When we got down to the 2 finalists, they knew it. They knew who they were, and we were able to work that to our advantage and get an even lower price than we got from the beginning, from their initial offer to us, right? And that's another advantage that we get through the marketplace process. And then, so what we're asking to have in this time is extending into their data that they've collected over the last 6 years, built the business out, and where we could go do research on our own. And I'll give you an example is, in a couple of days here, we're going to be asked to start the 2026 budget, where we'll be asked to figure out what we're going to spend in November of 2026, in May of 2025. And we can go out to their data portal and go see what cities have paid for those similar items, those similar projects, at the flat rate cost to us to go get that. The other thing I wanted to point out is that they do not have an entry for the vendors unless they win. There's no entry fee. So some of the others that are out there, vendors have to pay either a monthly fee or pay to download documents off the site. So Marketplace is free until you're a winner on both sides. And again, that doesn't come, those costs don't come back through the city. So there's some examples here. Chris, you can probably speak to some of these too, but how we would use some of the data services here that are described on this page.
And so a lot that goes into our market research, as I mentioned, is based on historical transactions from other governments, but also looking at vendors and the governments and contracts that they have as well. So it's going after factual data. We have zero preference going into a transaction, and with every single transaction with the City of Aurora, the list is set. We have no preferred vendors. Nobody can pay to get their products into our market landscapes. Nobody can pay to have their products prioritized in our landscapes. All right, so it is strictly performance-based and only based on if you're awarded a contract, then everybody agrees to pay the same exact amount. One company can't say we're going to come in and pay them more or less, and it's free in order to participate, in order to submit. We also prioritize local vendors to the extent that cities want us to as well. So our vendor lists are not set. So if you'd like to have a local company that's involved, we will do custom market research to find local companies to include in that. And we actually will do outreach to those companies to invite them to come in and respond. Many companies locally have benefited from the projects that we've worked on. Unfortunately, not every vendor can win every contract. So somebody's got to lose. But we always look for local vendors when we can. And so that's the type of data that comes in. We look at where you've done work before, what type of services you provide, and whether or not it meets the requirements of the city.
And I'll just add all to that. The city just had their first ever reverse vendor fair, which I got to participate in, which was wonderful. Marketplace was right there, helping all the local vendors that came, getting them signed up as well. So we've got a quick reference here. If there's any questions, we can take those. Otherwise, we can stop and take questions from if you want to know anything about the cities that are listed here and how they use it. Otherwise, we can just take questions in general.
Questions from the council? Any questions?
Mayor.
Alderman May-Sackles.
Thank you. Just a point of clarification here. Mr. Anderson, you mentioned just now it's free unless you have a winner. I'm looking at the termination clause here in the contract, page 2, Article 6, the bottom. It says, city shall pay a contractor only for services performed up to date of termination. Is that a termination of a specific project? Is that termination of contract? And if so,
this is the contract between us and Marketplace, right? So this now is slightly different than the ones we've had before because they are asking us to pay an annual fee to get access to their data portal. So if we decided that we didn't want to use it anymore, they would stop the access then. That's what the
and then we'd have to pay them for
is.
access on that research for that specific project or the contract or both.
Well, we would terminate the contract at that point if that's what we chose to do.
Yeah, but
right?
we still have to pay them for their service according to this contract.
Up to when we stopped using it.
Right. So there's still it's not free unless you have a winner.
No, my point there I was trying to make, and maybe I made it a little ham-handedly, I apologize for that, is it's free to vendors. So small businesses can get in. There's no large entry fee like some of the other portals have. Like, I'm not going to stand up here and name some of them, but they're procurement portals that are well known, where you've got to pay a monthly fee that's several $1,000s a month, or you have to pay several $100s to just download a document to participate, right? So you're paying an entry fee. There's no barrier. There's no barrier to entry here for anybody who wants to participate in a marketplace process. That's what I was trying to get to.
Do you have any projects in the pipeline right now that you'd like to execute within the next 3 weeks?
Within the next 3 weeks, we have several that we would like to bring in May and June to council. One of which I think the presentation was 2 weeks ago at council with Commander Handel was here talking about Cat and RMS. We're very close to that. I would say probably into June, maybe early July, we'll bring that huge thing
How's this? I'll
to
take
council.
any new, not active ones, but any new to the table that haven't already been brought forward.
So the ones we track are the ones that are active that are in the pipeline. So, that we've either included in a budget or have come up, in reaction to other things that have happened within the city where now we've got to go out and support something. So
you would go to our chief finance officer for permission, correct?
Correct.
So then can I ask a chief financial officer here and one more question? So
Sure.
Are you planning on releasing new projects over the next 3 weeks under this contract?
Again, we have those items that are active right now. Currently, as we stand and speak here tonight, I'm not necessarily aware of any other than the ones that we already have in the pipeline. But it's not uncommon for that process to start via some kind of an email or request or something along those lines. So I can't for certain state that we will or will not be starting any additional
So
project.
you'd like to have the discretion to give the green light or not on a new project?
Well, we looked and see if the project is budgeted and if there are
Okay.
budgeted funds
So
available.
for an unbudgeted project then?
Well, if it's an unbudgeted project, we would either need to accommodate a budget transfer to make that authority. So in other words, forego some other service or some other project that might have been included within the budget. We would have a budget transfer. Or if the dollars are significant enough, we would come before you to ask for the budget amendment to add those dollars to the budget.
Before you go out and authorize Market City to start working on it?
Well, the research and the part that the $75,000 fixed fee annually covers, that may actually take place at the front end of the project. So in other words, that if we were to get that access and approve this contract,
then there might be IT staff that would be utilizing that marketplace resource to start some initial research on the project to see how other municipalities may have handled the situation that they're looking at, maybe some options that were there and available. But in terms of the actual bids and those kinds of things, if, assuming that there were budgeted funds available, we would proceed with in conjunction with the IT department, the staff or operational divisions that would have input to whatever project we're talking about.
Thank you so
and
much.
move forward.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Alderman Leish.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to just say thanks to staff for answering all our questions, coming forward with a presentation, helping me better understand it, and the CIO who prepared answers to the questions that came in a late hour. I wanted to better understand the preferred vendor thing, because I heard you say that there is no preferred vendor at all coming on your end, but I believe that we can, yes. So you guys don't have preferred vendors, but I think when we were talking earlier, you said we can put preferred vendors in. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. If we know local vendors, and that's happened before, right? And we can request that Marketplace include them in the market landscape is how this starts. That's the first step of the process, is to determine who out there can meet the need.
Okay, but there's nobody flagged on your end as a preferred vendor for something. They can't buy access to that. Okay. No. And then just your national client base, roughly how big is that? And are there any other local municipalities using this system? Regionally?
We don't disclose the exact number of clients that we have, but we've shared some representative examples of who they are. And they do range from small towns in Illinois, in cities like Evanston and Waukegan, North Chicago, Champaign. Other clients of ours, Hoffman Estates, DuPage County has worked with us in the past. So we have worked with a number. Cook County is actually one of our larger clients nationwide. So.
Okay, and then I'll just ask this question. Having talked to staff, I feel a little more comfortable with this, but as incoming mayor, I would be a little more comfortable if we could have a 1-year contract with a 4-year option. I'm wondering how you feel about that.
I think what was before council, I don't know if I can speak to the actual proposal that's gone before council, is for 3 years plus 2 option years.
Correct. So I'm suggesting 1 year with 4 option years.
I think that the last 2 agreements we have reached at 3 years. We'd like to keep it that way.
Any other questions or discussion?
Mayor Urban.
Alderman.
I have a question with respect to the fee. Is this something that's going to be applied to all of your clients? Are we in the middle, beginning or end of this change with this fee? This is a new thing, so.
Yep. It's a new fee. It's commensurate with the size of the municipality and the number of projects and size of projects we work on.
Is this going to be extended to? Is this going to be applicable to all of your clients?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The clients that we've shown up here are all fee-paying clients, but also pay the 7% or have the vendors pay the 7% upon contract award.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or discussion? Mr. Andrews, did you have anything else to add?
No, I did not, Mayor.
All right. There's been a motion and a second on this item. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Barrera?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Pass.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
No.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
No.
Alderman Masiacos?
No.
8 yes, 3 no.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Let's go on to the next item under unfinished business. Madam Clerk, read the item number.
250209, an ordinance granting a conditional use permit for a gas station with separate diesel lanes on the property located at the southeast corner of Eola Road and Deal Road.
So moved.
Second.
Been a motion made by Alderman Franco, second by Alderman Garza. Did you have an additional presentation, or are you just here for questions?
We were asked to come up with a condition
right.
by the city council, so I'm
All
here
right.
to present that.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Ed Sieben, Zoning and Planning Division Director. So we were asked at Committee of the Whole by, I believe it was Alderman Lash, to come up with work with the Law Department to come up with a condition regarding if the facility goes out of business for the removal of the structures on the site. So staff, in conjunction with Corporation Counsel, is recommending within the conditional use document, and it's in the packet, the addition of condition number 2, which states that the attached Exhibit C Declaration of Demolition Covenant be recorded and submitted to the city prior to the issuance of any building permit. And that is a separate attachment. There's an Exhibit C called Declaration of Demolition Covenant. So I don't know if there's any questions on adding that condition.
All right, so there's been a motion, second. Are there any questions or comments on this item or the information that Mr. Sieben just gave to the council? Alderman Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I met with the residents yesterday, and we discussed 2 different topics. The first topic was Cyrus 1 producing noise, and the noise is generated by the generators and the fans. So that's a separate topic, but just wanted to bring it up because Palomino Springs residents brought these 2 issues together. The other issue, which is other concern and questions they had about this ordinance, and I wanted to say thank you to Ed Sieben and Tracy Basic. They answered a lot of questions today, and I'm going to go over some of the questions that were asked, and I'm also going to give the answers, what was given to me. Will there be 50 designated parking spots for the cars? So the total number is 48 spaces. How will you ensure trucks do not occupy those spaces for parking or idling? The answer is the truck cannot physically maneuver into these locations due to the limited turning radius and the obstruction posed by the proposed canopy over the car fueling positions. And Tracy also mentioned that since there are some adjacent parking for cars, there is a way we can have landscape islands added when we are going through final planning and plat designing. The other question was, what safety considerations have been made regarding the gas station's location next to the power grid and electrical transformers? The answer, the utility company has purchased the amount of property required to meet their safety protocols. The city would not allow anyone's property to be encumbered by additional safety requirements. It is required by federal law for the power company to comply with. The next question was, what is the mitigation plan for jake braking in the area? Can signage be installed along Deal Road to prohibit it? The answer, if this becomes a problem, signage can be installed. We currently have a noise ordinance and signs can be placed with the permission of DuPage County Division of Transportation. But if this is not a significant issue currently, then it is not anticipated that it will become an issue due to the construction of this gas station. Trucks do jake brake in heavy traffic and when approaching intersections to avoid using their brakes. During the AM and PM peak, this site is anticipated to generate 4 additional trucks, 1 every 15 minutes on Eola south of Deal. The next question was, what measures will be taken to prevent truck parking or idling for longer than 1 hour? Per the developer, they prefer that trucks not idle on this site, so the refueling lanes are constructed such that after a truck refuels, they can sit while 1 additional truck refuels, but then would have to move. So this would take around 10 to 20 minutes if a truck remains remained until required to move. The next question was, how will this be ensured that the trucks do not use monitor for entry? Can appropriate signage be installed to restrict access from and to Molitor Road? The answer, the truck accessible entrance is off Deal Road. Trucks can make right turn into the site from Deal. It is not logical that a truck would turn onto Molitor from Deal and then make a left turn onto Eola, only to then make another right turn onto Deal and then into the gas station. If a truck does utilize this route, it is most likely a mistake. Utilizing Google Maps from the intersection of Deal and Molitor, it is 2 minutes to the site remaining on Deal, and it is 3 minutes routing onto Molitor Road. The default route on Google Maps was to remain on Deal Road. And just to remember, Deal will have entrance and exit, and on Eola there is only entrance to this facility. The next question was, what is the mitigation strategy for trucks making right turns into the gas station without interfering pedestrians and Prairie Path users? The Illinois Prairie Path utilizes a bridge over Eola Road and therefore will not be interfered with by any traffic on Eola Road. The last one was, will there be increased police patrols to enforce truck idling regulation and prevent violations? Answer, if this becomes an issue and the signs are placed, if this becomes an issue and the signs are placed requiring to no jake braking, then we will entertain additional patrols to enforce the new regulations. And there are some other changes that can be incorporated while we are going through final plan and plat designs. Just wanted to put it on record. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Any other, Alderman Franco?
Can you go over that amendment that was made about if they go out of business? What was that about?
So we were asked to work with the law department to make sure that if the business goes out, after a certain time, they have to remove the tanks, the canopy, and other facilities.
Well, that would preclude if they sold it to another gas station type of
Correct.
thing.
If they went out of business,
All right,
they
yeah,
could
because I want to
still
make sure
resell it.
that was in there, because if they go out of business, somebody else might not go in there. We don't want to demolish and then rebuild. Okay, I just want to make sure that was part of it. All right, thank you.
Alderman Seville?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As has been said in the testimony that we've listened to from the petitioner and staff and the residents and the like, I just want to verify that, once again, that there'll be no advertising on the tollway. You don't plan on doing it. But what happens after you've been open a year or two? How do we know that that won't be done then, at some point in the future?
Yes, so I-88 is, oh, sorry, Ali Bucrest, Real Estate Project Manager with Quick Trip. I-88 is controlled by IDOT. IDOT does not have trailblazers currently on exits. I don't believe they have them anywhere on I-88, so that would have to go through IDOT approval, which they have sole jurisdiction on what goes up on I-88.
Can you give us some assurance in the document that even if they grant approval, that you won't participate in that?
Yeah, that's fine.
I would so move.
So there's been all right. So there's been a motion by Alderman Seville to add language ensuring that there will be no advertising on the expressway. And I believe there's a second by Alderman Bade. And if it sounds like this is a friendly motion, and all the no aldermen opposed that. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, just for clarification, that would be adding that as an additional condition of the conditional use, that no advertisement on the tollway would be permitted.
Correct.
And petitioner is accepting of that, as well as the council, just for the record?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Now for the item, so that particular motion was agreed on. So now the item itself, Are there any more questions or comments on the items? Alderman Lesh.
Sure. First, I want to say thanks to staff for coming up with the draft language there for the amendment. But I did want to ask one final question of economic development, which is, this is a piece of property that's located near Scientel and the data centers. I'm curious if there's ever been any interest from a tech company that might benefit from this land and might be a higher and better use for this piece of property over the years that you've been in office.
I mean, I can answer
Ms.
that.
Basic.
We, Tracy Basic, a senior planner with the Zoning and Planning Division. We do DST meetings, and we have not had any tech company come forward with any DSTs to require any kind of use of this property. The last one I think we had was a gas station, and that was, I think, in 2009.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman Bate.
I would like to make a motion to include island landscaping or medians to be included whenever we are designing the final plan and plat for this.
So, Mr. Sieben and
I
Ms.
would be
Basic,
comfortable.
that's something that's isn't that normally included in the plan and plat
This
process?
would, I'm sorry, Ed Steven. This would be an addition per the question that Alderwoman Bate had. So there's some additional landscaped items to prevent trucks from even attempting to park
Gotcha.
Where they shouldn't be.
Right. Alderman, I'm sorry, is this a motion or is this something that was already talked about that's going to be included?
I mean, as of final, we can include that, but if they want a condition to add that in so that it's guaranteed that we include
All
it.
right, so there's been a motion to include that, the landscaping by Alderman Bate. Is there a second? Second. All right, so Alderman Seville seconded, and it sounds like a friendly motion. Everybody would agree with that. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor,
yeah.
before you do that, I just want to, again, for the record, that this is an additional condition that would be imposed on the conditional use that would require such landscaping so as to prevent large semi-tractor trailers from utilizing the parking spaces designed for conventional vehicles. Is that correct?
Yes.
And
Yes.
the petitioner is comfortable with it?
Yes.
Question.
So there's, all right, so that passed. Alderman Frankel.
Yeah, I just want to, typically though, this is when we do the final plat and plan, right? When we do the landscaping stuff. So this is not like if we didn't do it today, we couldn't do it when that comes through BZE. Typically, that's what we do, right?
Correct, but
Yeah.
it was brought up as a concern.
Sure,
so-
right. I get that. I just want to make sure we knew that there was another round of voting and looking at the final plan and plat before we do approve anything, actually. Okay, thanks.
Mr. Mayor?
Alderman Buck.
Yes, I discussed this with Alderwoman Bate, and this sets a condition that it will actually happen, and then at final plan and plan, we're just determining where they are located. So we are no longer determining if, just where, what this condition.
Well, that's not how I understand it. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I think we always come up with that during their, not where, but if. There, I mean, it's no problem doing it here, but I just want to make sure that everybody knows that we typically go through the process and do that there in addition to that. Not that there's a problem, but, you know, this is not the normal process, but I understand why we're doing it tonight.
And it also addresses one more concern of truck idling there. So if there is no room, they will not be idling. So I thought maybe it's the right time. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Is this a question on the motion or
No, the motion's over. There's a
initial
question on the item itself.
As amended twice.
As amended twice.
Alderman Barrero?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Pass.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Madam Clerk, read the next item.
25-0210, resolution approving a revision to the preliminary plan and plat for property located at the southeast corner of Viola Road and Deal Road.
So moved.
Been a motion by Franco, seconded by Alderman Franco, seconded by Alderman Smith. Any questions or comments? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Barrero?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Denell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver. Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. The resolution is approved. Madam Clerk, read the next item under unfinished business. I'm sorry. No, we do Matt first because.
250308, a resolution approving the appointment of Matthew T. Thomas as police chief.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. Any questions or discussions on this item? Alderman Lash.
Sure. I just wanted to, I know several older people have asked my position on this. I wanted to give you a little short history of the process. I did meet with Deputy Chief Thomas for a period of about 5 hours between several meetings. Took the time to interview several other officers throughout the chain, as well as representatives from organized labor. And I can say that there's unanimous support for both this agenda item and the next agenda item, and I look forward to working both with Chief Thomas and Deputy Chief Stemmet over the course of the next 4 years.
Any other questions or comments? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Barrero.
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Denell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. Item is approved. Congratulations, Chief. Congratulations again, Chief. Right, absolutely. Madam Clerk, read the next item.
250307, a resolution approving the appointment of Stephen A.
So
Stemmet as
moved.
deputy police
Second.
chief.
There's been a motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Garza. Any questions or discussion on this item? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Barrero.
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Denell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville. Alderman Tolliver.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. Resolution approved. Congratulations, Deputy Chief. Congratulations again, gentlemen. I know you will you'll take care of Aurora and then make sure we do continue to do well. Oh, yeah. All right. And thanks for all of our APD here that showed up in support of you guys. Let's give them a round of applause for all that they do to keep us safe. Gentlemen. All right, let's go on to the next portion of the agenda, new business. Is there a motion to suspend the rules to consider items that are new business? There's a motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Barrero.
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Denell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
All right, let's call the first item under new business.
250339, a resolution authorizing the execution of a settlement agreement with Middle Prairie LLC, Aurora Broadway LLC, and Knightsbridge Global L Limited, and a purchase and sale agreement for the acquisition of real property located at 35 North Broadway.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. Any questions or discussions on this item? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Barrero.
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza.
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos.
Yes.
Alderman Denell.
Yes.
Alderman Franco.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade.
Yes.
Alderman Lash.
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. Resolution is approved. Read the next item.
250340, a resolution authorizing the divestment and sale of city-owned property located at 922 Garfield Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion made by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Garza. Are there any questions or discussions on this item? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Barrero?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. Resolution is approved. There are no reports on this agenda tonight. There's been a motion to pay the bills on behalf
Second.
of Alderman Smith, seconded by, who was that? Was that Alderman Tolliver? Are there any questions or discussions on the bills or any motions removing the items? Alderman Lash?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have a question for Finance on line 8. The bills, payment to Corrigan and Clark in the amount of $27,106 coming from the GEO Bond Fund for the design and construction of Fire Station 4. I'm just wondering, what does this dollar amount cover?
It represents work that was done related to, I believe, schematic design and design development, as well as consultation with the construction manager. And I believe there was also a meeting or two with staff that was involved with that.
Does that bring us up for the work that they've performed? Is that up to this date?
We are current. We did receive a bill, I believe, either just earlier this week, that is not due yet, but we are current with the billings to them at this particular point, yes.
Okay, and what is the, roughly the amount of the bill that we just received?
40? Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have that information available right now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions or comments? There being none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Barrero?
Yes.
Alderwoman Garza?
Yes.
Alderman Masiacos?
Yes.
Alderman Donnell?
Yes.
Alderman Franco?
Yes.
Alderman Seville?
Yes.
Alderman Tolliver?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman Bug?
Yes.
Alderwoman Bade?
Yes.
Alderman Lash?
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no.
All right, motion carries. Bills are approved. There is no need for a closed session. There's a motion to adjourn by Alderman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Chief and Deputy Chief, again, congratulations, gentlemen.